Yo, I know I haven't done one in a minute. It's been a while. Pavy Lady Takes back again. Under different circumstances this time, obviously. I mean, I'm sure at this point, if you're watching this, and that means you know something about the NBA. So you know they've canceled the season. Also, you know two players have. I think it's three because at some point in time in the day, Emmanuel Mudiay just uncontracted the virus. Like if you remember, at first it was Mudiay and it was Gobert that was sick at first, and then it said Rudy and Emmanuel Mudiay had both tested positive for the coronavirus. And then somewhere along the day, like between yesterday and today, Mudiay just like name fell out the news, and then Donovan Mitchell became the talk. It was found that he had contracted the coronavirus. So I mean, first of all, prayers up for both of them. Hopefully they can 100% get healthy. 100% recover. As far as the precautions the league took, I think it's the right thing to do. Just knowing about the virus and just um, knowing how it spreads. I was even researching stuff and it was talking about, I think it was patient 31 in South Korea. I think South Korea had like 50 cases or something like that, and she actually had it. She went to the hospital. They told her, "Yo, go home. Don't be out in public. Just quarantine yourself. You're sick. Like, go home. If it gets worse, come back." She didn't take that advice. She went to public places. She went to church. Then she went to a concert. She said she did something else, and then within 3 days, 500 people had the virus. You know how many people can fit into an NBA arena. Um, you know, one person has it, transmits it to like the next person. The next day, you have a whole outbreak in the city. It's not safe for the players. Obviously, like media are in close proximity with the players as well. And it's not safe for the media. It's not safe for anybody. So I think it was definitely necessary. Hopefully, we can as a people get this thing at least somewhat under control. I don't think that we'll ever go back to quote unquote normal. I think that when I say normal, I mean like I think this is just a incident in your life that might change the way you live your life a little bit. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that there's it may put more of an emphasis on personal hygiene, which is nothing wrong with that at all. And so I don't think that we'll ever go back to life living the exact same way we were before this whole stuff came out and this whole stuff had exploded. Me personally, I've been paying attention to it since I want to say late January, early February. Y'all remember having conversations about it. Me, just in capacity of not so much as far as people getting sick, but just about watching the markets and just the world markets and watching stocks and things like that. And then I really, 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 really became concerned around like February 25th when I was getting sent emails. When I was getting sent emails about the coronavirus. And I'm like, okay, it must be getting really, really serious if I'm getting like emails. People like, yo, if the stocks drop, like, yo, don't worry. Here's why you shouldn't worry. And they were comparing it to other things that happened, throughout history, like 9/11 and wars or something. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's getting for real serious at this point in time. But like I said, hopefully Donovan and hopefully Rudy can fully recover. From what I know about it, it seems to be something that um, if you're in good health and you're younger, you seem to be able to make a full recovery from it. Also, many people may have had it before. I know one of my homegirls was telling me she thinks that she probably had it way back in like January. She said that she thinks she contracted it from a friend who was a foreign exchange student from China, and she kind of had a sore throat that developed into like pneumonia, and it took about three weeks to a month. She took some over the counter medicine. She got some like some medicine prescribed to her from doctors. It took like 3 weeks to a month, but after that she was fine. So we also don't know how many people may have had it before. Again, also every case isn't a crazy case. You have mild cases of coronavirus. If you're old, it does suck, and that's the main thing that I'm worried about. I have a lot of older people, in my life. My dad, my stepmom, my godmother, my grandma. Those people are really old. They're all past 60. This is something that could definitely affect them. Also, people who have had underlying health issues is something that can definitely be knockout punch for them. So it's definitely a scary thing. It's definitely something that we should all take seriously, and I think that's the main thing that we all learn from the Goldberg situation. Me personally, I don't think he contracted the virus from rubbing the microphones. I've heard through the grapevine, a story of how he possibly could have contracted the virus. I won't release it if, people, tell you. Then if it like comes across, then you'll hear it. But I don't think rubbing the microphones how he contracted the virus. Like he might have known somebody who had it or something like that. We don't necessarily know. Um, but even if that was how he contracted the virus, it just shows everybody that this is something that needs to be taken seriously, and take your health seriously, man. And when health officials advise you to do something, please take it seriously, guys. If you don't have to leave the house too much, try to limit it. I went shopping yesterday, bought like 100 bottles of water, bought some food. I don't plan to be leaving the house too much. I plan to do a pretty strong self quarantine. If I need to leave the house, it'll be for essentials. Like we ran out of water, we ran out of tissue, things like that. So if you can work from home, guys, please do that. Please help to slow down the spread of the virus. And yeah, man, like seriously, I think the one thing that we have to learn from Gobert's mistakes, even like if that really was how it happened. I mean, even still, like you hear the stories of him being reckless in the locker room, touching everything, touching everybody. Now, granted, obviously, coronavirus isn't something where you sometimes it can take 3 to 4 days before you feel anything and like have any type of symptoms. So maybe he didn't know he didn't have any symptoms. But just be mindful of your personal hygiene and your personal space. And again, when health officials advise you to do something, please do it. Also, word came down today that the NBA will be suspended for at least a month. Me, I'm trying to look at the positive side of things. Like that's just what I do in life. For one, I mean, I guess everybody has a chance to get healthy. I mean, if it, hopefully it does. Hopefully we can get this thing, under control. We can all go back to resuming, our regular life. But real quick, I do want to actually make this point before I go and talk about the positives. Is also I think this whole situation has shown, everybody just how fragile life is. We're really always at one point, you know, literally one step away from everything that we, know about life and everything that we love about life being completely disrupted. It really doesn't take much for everything to be disrupted, like at all. And in these moments, like when things really get bad, money is a social construct. Like if you was in Katrina and you was a rich banker and you was a poor man, both of y'all in the same situation. And no matter if you was a millionaire or like if you was poor, if you was out there and you was stranded and you was on top of a house, you couldn't even get to a bank. Like you couldn't use your money. Like everybody was all equal. Everybody's on the same level. You didn't have these same social constructs to make one person bigger than the next person. So like just everything you love about life is just so fragile. Like I don't think I can remember a time of all sports being canceled ever. I think the only time I can remember that is when 9/11 happened. And I think the NFL got pushed back for a week. I'm sure they were playing baseball at that point in time. I'm sure they maybe took a pause on baseball for a week or something like that. But I mean, we talking about everybody is pausing sports for 2 weeks to a month. I don't think I can remember a time like that. At least in my lifetime, at least. I even think that. And then I think you got to go back to when Kennedy was actually assassinated. The last time people didn't play games, didn't play sporting events. Sports is one of the things that you think will continue no matter what. But it just goes to show you life is fragile, man, and you're really always only one step away from everything that you know and love about life being completely disrupted and being interrupted from whatever it could be. It could be a hurricane, it could be an earthquake, it could be like a virus outbreak. It could be something personal that happens to you. So just appreciate life and always realize everything you love about it and all the social constructs that you think are just gonna wake up and we all take for granted. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world, so it's very very easy to do that. But everything that you take for granted, it doesn't take much for it to be disrupted. But looking onto the positive side of things, hopefully this can all get settled, and we can resume playing basketball in maybe a month, 2 months. We'll have basketball in the summer, NBA basketball in the summer. Also, everybody will be healthy. Like everybody who has any type of knick-knack, ail, and injuries. Now, granted, I don't know if they're gonna play the rest of the 16 games. Maybe they shorten it. Maybe they do play a very condensed schedule. Maybe they play 8 games and not 16. But regardless, everybody has a chance to get healthy. You may see a situation in which, hey, what if they come back in August or July and KD's healthy, and now the second seed has to play a Nets team that has KD and Kyrie on it, or KD's back on the court, or Boogie can get healthy and the Lakers can go re-sign Boogie. The Blazers, let's say they can get 100% fully healthy and actually make a real playoff push. They didn't have a lot of guys. Bron, he's had growing injuries and things like that. Now he gets to take some time off, get a rest, get his body 100% correct, and come back. I still think we can be in for a great playoffs and a great end of the season. I mean, even a more amazing. I mean, it might be sloppy to start, obviously, because guys are out of rhythm. If you've been off not playing basketball for like a month and a half, it'll be a little bit out of rhythm. But same time, like I said, everybody will be healthy. Everybody's bodies will be, fully recovered. So, I hope that we get to finish out this NBA season, man, because this NBA season to me was shaping up to be one of the better ones in recent memory. Like, I mean, we all had theories about what was going to happen, but like in previous years, I think there were more foregone conclusions. I think that this year there was no foregone conclusion. I think that if you would have asked, people, hey, who's gonna win the championship? The past 5 years, everybody would have said the Warriors. This year, you would say who's gonna win the championship? Or even who's gonna make the finals? You'll get different answers from different people depending on who you ask. And I think that is what makes this season so exciting. So again, I hope he can come back. Like I said, I think the one thing that you gotta look forward to if and when it does come back is that everybody will be healthy. Everybody will have rest. Guys' bodies, they would have been able to, take some time off. And yeah, man, like I said, guys, please go out there and stay safe. Don't be fooling around too much if you don't have to be outside. If you can stay away, especially from large crowds of people, guys, please do that. Do not be foolish. It is a real thing. It may not be life or death for some of us, but it is life or death for a lot of us. And again, you just don't want things to get worse because then again, that's when society collapses. Like the economy will collapse, markets will collapse. When the economy collapse, markets will collapse. People act crazy. So let's all do our part to be able to curb this thing and stop this thing. Like I said, I'm in the house. I got water. I got 3 bottles of wine. I got mad food. I don't plan to leave at least for a minute. And if I do leave, it'll be just for small, minute things for 5 minutes. Very low contact with people. Maybe be going to CVS. Right back to the house. Not really gonna be outside fooling around too much. So like I said, guys, please be safe. And prayers up for Donovan Mitchell, prayers up for Rudy Gobert. I know a lot of people jumping on his case like, oh, you ruined everything, but it's not his fault, man. Like I don't want to completely jump down all on him. Who knows? Like I said, if touching the mics was where he contracted it. I heard a story, but it could just all be gossip, so I'm not gonna even speak on it. If it comes out, then that's what comes out, and this Wolves reports it, then hey, that's what happened. Or if he says it, then that's what happens. But I'm not gonna report it because it could just be hearsay and gossip. Again, it's just something that I heard. But again, who knows how he actually contracted it? Maybe it wasn't from the mics. Maybe he already had it. Maybe he knew somebody. Maybe he ran into somebody. Who knows? People come into contact with a lot of people every day. But I will say that I think whatever the situation is, I think we all learned a lesson, and this thing is serious, it's highly contagious, it should not be played with, and when health officials advise you to do something, please make sure you take the steps to do that. So like I said, man, prayers up to Rudy Gobert, prayers up to Donovan Mitchell. Please, guys, get 100%. Be back. I'm sure you guys will. Emmanuel Mudiay as well. Like I said, his name kind of disappeared from the story at some point in time between yesterday and today because it was definitely Gobert and Emmanuel Mudiay. And I don't know what happened to Mudiay's name. It just said all other Jazz players were fine, but Mudiay wasn't fine 16 hours ago. So I don't know, but prayers up for Mudiay too. And any other players who may have come in contact with him, man, prayers up for you guys. Hopefully it's just those two and we can, quarantine those guys and we can stop at those two. But, man, like I said, guys, please be safe out there. I'm sure you'll be seeing me. We'll be doing some 2-for-1s and stuff like that, talking about some things. I'll be watching some old basketball. I went to sleep last night watching old 90s basketball, so I'm sure I'll be watching some old basketball games. And, yeah, man, like I said, everybody be safe. So it's been Pavy Takes. I'll talk to you guys.